Most of us clean our homes the same way. We wait until the mess builds up, then spend hours wiping counters, scrubbing bathroom corners, moving bottles, and vacuuming around furniture. But what if the real secret wasn't cleaning harder? What if it was designing your home so cleaning becomes almost effortless? That's exactly what many Japanese homes do. From the kitchen and bathroom to the entryway and laundry area, you'll notice one surprising pattern. Almost nothing touches the floor, and almost nothing stays on the countertop. It's not just about making a home look tidy. It's about preventing mold before it forms, stopping dust before it collects, and making every room faster to clean. So, today we're taking a room-by-room tour through a Japanese home to discover 12 brilliant floating storage ideas that quietly eliminate everyday frustration. And once you see them, you may never organize your home the same way again. Let's start where clutter builds up the fastest, the kitchen. It's the busiest room in almost every home. Meals are prepared here every day. Dishes pile up. Water splashes everywhere. Utensils seem to multiply overnight. And somehow, no matter how often you wipe the counter, it never stays clean for very long. Japanese kitchens approach this problem in a completely different way. Instead of asking, "How do we clean this mess?" they ask, "How do we stop the mess from happening in the first place?" The answer isn't buying stronger cleaning products. It isn't spending more time scrubbing. It's removing obstacles before they ever get in the way. And it all starts with one simple rule: the nothing lives on the counter rule. Walk into a Japanese kitchen, and one of the first things you'll notice is how surprisingly empty the countertops are. Not because people own fewer things, but because almost everything has somewhere else to live. Cooking utensils hang from rails. Knives are mounted on the wall. Paper towels hide underneath cabinets. Cleaning tools stay above the sink instead of sitting beside it. Only the items being used at that moment are allowed to stay on the counter. As soon as the cooking is finished, everything goes back to its designated place. At first, this might seem like a minimalist design choice, but it's actually a cleaning strategy. Every bottle, cutting board, or utensil left on the countertop becomes one more thing you have to pick up before you can wipe the surface. By keeping the counter almost completely clear, daily cleaning becomes incredibly simple. Instead of moving 10 different objects, you simply grab a cloth and wipe straight across. One smooth motion, no interruptions, no hidden puddles underneath bottles, no forgotten crumbs trapped behind containers. Japanese homeowners sometimes describe this as designing for one-wipe cleaning because, when nothing lives on the counter, cleaning hardly feels like cleaning at all. Magnetic knife wall. Now, take a closer look at the knives. In many kitchens around the world, they're stored inside a bulky knife block or hidden away in a drawer. Japanese kitchens often do the exact opposite. They proudly display them on a magnetic strip mounted to the wall. It certainly looks modern, but the real reason is much more practical. After washing, knives dry much faster when exposed to open air. Moisture doesn't get trapped inside a wooden block where mold and bacteria can quietly build up over time. There's another advantage, too. A knife block occupies valuable counter space all day long. A magnetic strip frees that space without making the knives any harder to reach. In fact, they're often easier to grab while cooking. It's a perfect example of Japanese thinking. One simple change improves hygiene, saves space, and makes everyday cooking just a little more efficient. The floating sink station. If there's one place that gets messy the fastest, it's the kitchen sink. Think about everything that usually sits there: a wet sponge, a bottle of dish soap, a scrub brush, sometimes a damp dishcloth thrown over the edge of the sink. Each one traps water underneath. Within a few days, sticky residue begins to appear. Hard water stains form around the bottles. The sponge starts to smell. And suddenly, the very tools meant for cleaning become another thing you have to clean. Japanese kitchens solve this by treating the entire sink area as a floating storage zone. Instead of sitting on the countertop, the sponge hangs over the sink. The scrub brush hangs beside it. The dish soap is often placed in a rack that drains directly back into the sink. Nothing sits in standing water. Nothing leaves wet rings behind. Air circulates freely around every item, helping everything dry much faster. The result isn't just a cleaner-looking sink. It's a sink that stays cleaner between cleanings. And perhaps the biggest benefit comes when it's time to wipe everything down. There are no bottles to lift, no sponge to move aside, just one clear surface that can be cleaned in seconds. It's another reminder that in Japanese homes, the smartest cleaning trick often happens long before anyone picks up a sponge. Hanging trash bag. Now, let's move to one of the simplest ideas in a Japanese kitchen, and one that many people wish they had discovered sooner. Think about preparing dinner. You're peeling carrots, cutting onions, opening food packages. Every few seconds, you have another piece of waste to throw away. Most of us keep a trash can on the floor. That means constantly turning around, bending down, or accidentally dropping scraps along the way. Japanese kitchens often solve this with a folding trash bag holder attached directly to a cabinet door. Open the cabinet, hook on a trash bag, and suddenly your garbage bin is right beside the cutting board. Vegetable peels fall straight into the bag. Eggshells, food wrappers, coffee grounds, everything goes directly where it belongs. When you're finished cooking, the holder folds flat against the cabinet, or can be removed completely. No bulky trash can taking up valuable floor space. No extra cleaning afterward. It's one of those ideas that's almost invisible until you realize how much unnecessary movement it removes from your daily routine. Cabinet door pot lid organizer. Here's another place most people never think to use. The inside of a cabinet door. For many families, pot lids are one of the most awkward things to store. They're too large for drawers, too unstable when stacked, and they often end up covering precious countertop space. Japanese kitchens turn the back of the cabinet door into storage instead. A simple rack holds each lid vertically, hidden from view, but always within easy reach. This does more than keep the kitchen organized. It protects glass lids from being scratched, prevents noisy stacks from falling over, and makes finding the right lid almost effortless while cooking. It's a perfect example of a Japanese design habit you'll notice again and again. Instead of buying more storage, they look for space that's already there. So far, every idea we've seen has one thing in common. Keep surfaces clear, keep things dry, and make cleaning easier. Nowhere is that philosophy more important than in the bathroom. Why Japanese bathrooms hang almost everything. Bathrooms fight a constant battle against moisture. Water collects on every surface. Soap leaves behind residue, and even after a thorough cleaning, mold somehow finds its way back. Japanese homes tackle the problem from a different angle. Instead of constantly cleaning around bottles and accessories, they simply stop those items from sitting in water in the first place. Walk into a modern Japanese bathroom, and you'll notice that almost everything hangs. Shampoo bottles rest on magnetic shelves. Soap hangs from magnetic holders. Toothbrushes are mounted on the wall. Bath sponges dry from hooks. Even razors and toilet brushes often have their own wall-mounted holders. At first, it looks incredibly neat, but the real benefit is what you don't see. No puddles collecting underneath bottles, no slimy soap dishes, no toothbrush cups trapping stagnant water. Everything dries faster because air can circulate freely. And when it is time to clean the sink or shower, there are almost no obstacles left behind. It's a simple idea. Lift everyday items into the air, and you've already eliminated half the cleaning work. Floating vanity and floating toilet. The floating philosophy doesn't stop with small accessories. In many Japanese homes, even the bathroom furniture leaves the floor untouched. Wall-mounted vanities create an open space underneath the sink, and wall-hung toilets remove one of the hardest areas in the bathroom to clean. Think about the base of a traditional toilet. Dust, hair, moisture. They all collect around those tight corners. Cleaning them involves kneeling down and reaching into awkward spaces. But when the fixtures are lifted off the floor, those problem areas simply disappear. A mop glides straight through. A robot vacuum can clean underneath without getting stuck. The bathroom feels larger, brighter, and much easier to maintain. It's proof that sometimes the smartest storage solution isn't another organizer. It's changing the way the room itself is designed. The bathroom may be where floating storage is most obvious, but Japanese homes don't stop there. The same thinking continues into everyday utility spaces, where keeping the floor clear makes a surprising difference. Ceiling drying pole. In many homes, drying clothes means bringing out a large drying rack that takes over the room. Japanese apartments often use a completely different solution. Instead of using the floor, they use the ceiling. Retractable or removable drying poles are installed overhead, especially in compact apartments where every square meter matters. When it's time to dry clothes, the pole is lowered into place. When everything is dry, it's lifted back up or removed entirely. Nothing blocks your path. Nothing needs to be folded and stored away. And the floor stays completely open for cleaning. It's a perfect example of how Japanese homes make temporary tasks leave no permanent clutter behind. Pegboard wall. One of the most flexible storage ideas you'll find in Japanese homes is surprisingly simple: a pegboard. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary board with evenly spaced holes. But those holes allow hooks, shelves, baskets, and holders to be rearranged whenever your needs change. Today, it might hold scissors, tape, and charging cables. Tomorrow, it could organize sewing tools, kitchen utensils, or DIY supplies. Nothing needs to sit on a desk. Nothing has to clutter a countertop. Everything hangs neatly on the wall exactly where it's needed. And because the layout can change in minutes, the storage system grows and adapts with your lifestyle. Rather than buying new furniture every time life changes, Japanese homes often let a single wall become whatever storage they need next. Wall-mounted vacuum cleaner dock. There's one household item that's surprisingly difficult to store: a vacuum cleaner. In many homes, it ends up leaning against a wall, hidden behind a door, or taking up valuable floor space inside a closet. Japanese homes often solve this with a simple wall-mounted charging dock. The vacuum hangs neatly on the wall when it's not in use. Always charged, always easy to reach, and completely off the floor. That might not sound like a big difference, but it changes something important. When cleaning tools are difficult to access, people tend to postpone cleaning. When they're always visible and ready to use, cleaning becomes much easier to start. Even the tool used for cleaning follows the same rule as everything else in the house. If it doesn't need to touch the floor, it shouldn't. By now, you've probably noticed something interesting. None of these ideas are particularly high-tech. Most of them aren't expensive, and yet together they completely change how a home feels. That's because they're all built around the same way of thinking. Not just storing things, but storing them intelligently. Vertical before horizontal. When many people run out of storage space, their first reaction is simple: buy another cabinet, add another shelf, find somewhere to fit a larger piece of furniture. Japanese homes often ask a different question first. Have we used all the vertical space? Instead of expanding across the floor, they expand upward. Walls become storage. Cabinet doors become storage. The sides of appliances become storage. Even small, forgotten spaces become useful. This approach does more than save space. It keeps floors clear, makes rooms feel larger, and removes countless obstacles when it's time to vacuum or mop. In a country where homes are often compact, every vertical surface is treated as valuable real estate. Sometimes the smartest storage isn't about having more space. It's about using the space you already have more wisely. Everything has a home. After walking through an entire Japanese home, one lesson stands above all the rest. The real secret isn't magnetic shelves, it isn't wall hooks, and it isn't buying dozens of storage gadgets. The real secret is giving every single item a permanent home. Not a temporary place. Not a corner where it gets left just for now. A real, intentional location. When you're finished using something, there's no decision to make. It simply goes back where it belongs. That small habit prevents clutter before it even begins. Countertops stay clear. Floors stay open. Dust has fewer places to hide. Cleaning takes minutes instead of hours. And over time, the entire home becomes easier to live in. Not because people clean more often, but because the home itself is designed to stay organized. That's the genius behind Japanese floating storage. It's not about making a home look perfect. It's about making everyday life just a little easier. After seeing these ideas room by room, one thing becomes clear. Japanese homes don't stay clean because people spend more time cleaning. They stay clean because they're designed to make cleaning almost effortless. By lifting everyday objects off the floor and off the countertop, they reduce clutter, prevent moisture from building up, and eliminate many of the small frustrations that make housework feel exhausting. Sometimes the smartest innovation isn't a complicated gadget. It's simply putting things in a better place. So, which of these Japanese floating storage ideas would make the biggest difference in your home? Let us know in the comments. If these Japanese storage secrets have changed how you view your living space, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. We are uncovering the hidden wisdom of efficient living that others often overlook. Cultivate a better home. Our next treasury of ideas will be revealed soon.